The Dairy School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by Corteva Agriscience, an agriculture division of Dow DuPont.
Bernard Tobin here at the Western Canadian Dairy Seminar in Red Deer, Alberta. Joined now by Trevor DeVries from the University of Guelph. How's it going, Trevor?
Very good.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. You just did your presentation on managing, robot herds to optimize health and welfare. And first question for you, and that is, automated milking systems, across Canada on the rise, growing. In general, how do you assess the overall health of cows in robot systems compared to other systems?
What the data would suggest to us is that we're doing a pretty good job, and we've surveyed producers about the health and welfare of cows in robotic milking systems, and we published that data a couple of years ago and demonstrated that overall producers perceive an increase actually in the quality of lives of their cows. From a health perspective, from a welfare perspective, we know that cows have a lot more freedom in robotic milking systems, and we can accommodate that freedom. So from a behavioral standpoint, we can do a better job from a welfare perspective of the cow. We can also do a better job when it comes to health management. We have a lot more tools available to us, and some of the data suggests that our producers in Canada are experiencing the benefits of that in their robotic milking systems.
Now, in your presentation, you reviewed the impediments, shall we say, to good health and welfare in robot barns. I want to review some of those with you. Let's kick it off and talk about how producers may be able to do a better job of managing those factors. Kick it off with working with cows that cannot milk when they want to.
Yeah, and so one of the impediments to good health and welfare is situations where cows can't get to that robot. And what that results in is a number of different things. One could be a prolonged milking interval whereby those cows go beyond kind of the standard milking interval of anywhere from, say, 6 to 8 to 10 hours per day. And as a result of that, you're going to have, obviously, udder engorgement and situations that may predispose those cows to other problems. And as well, we may have situations where cows maybe are fearful in the robot. And so there's sometimes, depending on our housing and management, may have situations where cows don't want to go to the robot because there may be bully cows there, or they may end up in a commitment pen where they have to spend extended periods of time on their feed, and that again has negative longer-term consequences on the health and production of those cows. And so we need to make sure that first and foremost the housing design is done properly so that we can accommodate that behavioral freedom that we have for our cows in our robotic systems. And we have different options when it comes to housing cows in robotic milking systems, particularly the way that we direct cows to the robot. We can have free access to that robot, which can work very well with very good nutritional management. We can also have guided traffic systems whereby cows have to pass through the robot either on their way to or from the feeding area. Now, those systems can work very well as well, but require very good management. And at the end of the day, I think my take home is really that we want to accommodate the cow first. And so from my personal bias and where some of the literature tells us is that the free access systems are probably optimal from that perspective. And if we can then get that right, then we also manage the farmer's ability to do a good job in that system and also manage their time efficiently as well.
Talk about, your second point, and that was, we have to manage cows that do not want to go milk.
Yeah, and so we do have situations where cows don't want to go milk, and there's sometimes a variety of reasons for that. Probably the biggest is the mobility of the cow and the cow's desire to walk. And we do have some mobility challenges with our cows. Lameness can be a challenge that dairy producers face. And we've actually estimated incidences of lameness and prevalences of lameness on Canadian farms, particularly robot farms. I think the good news story is that we don't see a lot of severe lameness on our farms, and I think producers recognize that because they just realize that those cows are not going to milk voluntarily. However, we still see a fair amount of moderate or mild lameness, and so cows with impaired gait, and that impaired gait then does influence their willingness to go to that robot. And we see more fetching required, we see less visits, we see less milk production. And so just a reminder again for producers that we do face that as a challenge, but we have solutions for that. We know that if we can manage the comfort of cows, particularly lying comfort, designing good stalls that are comfortable, have soft bedding surfaces for them to lie down on, they're going to maximize the usage of those stalls, minimize the time that they spend standing outside those stalls, and minimize that risk. And we can then get the best out of our cows and make those cows as willing as possible to go to that robot when they want to.
You also talked about the importance of managing udder health and and making sure we have healthy udders.
Yeah, and definitely udder health is always a concern in the dairy industry. We want quality milk, and we also want healthy cows producing that quality milk. And initially with robotic milking, we thought there might be challenges with udder health. There was some initial reports that producers were experiencing increases and remained high. That doesn't seem to be an issue anymore. We may face some transient increases in, say, somatic cell counts and bacterial counts. However, just like in conventional systems, if we can manage the cow well in terms of her ability to resist infection and at the same time reduce the pathogen burden in the environment of the cow, so specifically the hygiene of the environment of the cow, her lying stall in particular, which then will then translate into improving the hygiene of the cow, we dramatically reduce the risk of infection in those cows. And milk quality does not need to be a concern then in our robotic milking systems.
And another thing we need to consider is our nutritional management programs in robots.
Yeah, and nutrition is a key to success in robotic milking systems, and a large component of managing robotic milking systems is properly managing the nutrition of cows, because it's really actually the feed that is driving those cows to get up and go to the robot, both the feed in the robot as well as the feed in the feed bunk. And they both play a significant role in making sure those cows get up and they milk often and regularly. And so we have a lot of knowledge, and we've done a very good job in terms of advancing knowledge in that area. There are some potential challenges. We have some evidence to suggest that rates of negative energy balance and subclinical ketosis may be higher in our robotic milking herds. And so focusing in on doing a good job in terms of nutritional supplementation of those cows right after calving is key. And again, I think we have the knowledge. It's just a matter of implementation on farm to ensure that those cows are meeting their nutritional requirements and getting that good start into their lactation.
Now, the final thing you talked about, and one of many, obviously, but the data that robots are generating. And, you have some really interesting comments about, hey, how we can use this to manage health and welfare.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of these systems, is they produce a ton of data, and data on production, what's coming out of the cow, what the cow is doing at the robot in terms of visits, how often she's there, how long she milks, how much she produces, her quality of her milk. And then we also have behavioral data, activity of the cows, chewing time of the cows. And the nice thing is, and what we've found in our research, is that we can combine that information to really tell us about how that cow's performing, particularly from a health perspective, identifying cows early and for disease. And so we have some really good opportunities there. We need to do more research, and we're continuing to work in this area to try to refine what are the most important things to be looking at, and then also developing kind of complicated mathematical algorithms that are going to give the producer basically information that they need, which is, hey, this cow's got a problem, you've got to go check her and do something about it. And we're trying to make that as easy as possible for the producers using these systems.
Good stuff, Trevor. Hey, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it, your time.
Yeah, thank you very much.